If you believe it, stand up. You're gonna make it. Stand up. Getting stronger by the day. You're invincible. Yeah, yeah. If you believe it, stand up. You're gonna make it. Stand up. Getting stronger by the day. You're invincible.
Good evening, South Africa, and welcome to another exciting episode of Trending SA right here on SABC3. Ritseni, we are within December.
Can you flate for us quickly?
Are we supposed to?
I can't
A little
flate.
Ajovito
No, no,
flate,
no.
yeah.
Oh, shh. All right, I go by the name of Maple, and to help you escape the norm, I have my Everyday Women Crush Wednesdays with me. And right here, bright as a custard,
Hey,
Rifilwe.
bright as a sunny day. I don't know, custard.
You must never.
And over there,
Now count your words.
looking like a Sutu bride, is Elma Smith.
Look at you, girl. Yours was better than mine, I'll
Which
tell you
traditional
that.
wedding are you going to?
I thought that would we have a wedding after this. Don't we have a wedding after this?
Guys, so basically the president might pull another with immediate effect and there's going to be a curfew, and how are you going to cope, Rifil?
I would just like to say to the Eastern Cape, this is your fault.
I'm not gonna cope. Guys, please don't give us hotspots. It's the last thing we need.
It's the last
If we're
thing
going to
we
be targeting hotspots and being told, Uti, Mondays to Wednesdays, the curfew is this, we're not going to
No,
make
guys.
it, please.
We're not doing that,
Let's
guys.
behave.
Please behave. Please wear your mask. We're seeing you on stories and you're not wearing your mask. It's time now for Top Trends.
Pew, pew. All right, now former ANC Nelson Mandela Bay councillor Andile Lungisa has been released from prison on parole. Lungisa was sentenced to 2 years in prison for assaulting a DA councillor, Mkhize, with a glass jug, with a glass jug to the head, rather, during a violent council meeting in 2016.
Reino Kaiser sounds like a character on
Yeah.
Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat.
Unfortunately, our Reino cannot brawl from the looks of that video.
He was on the receiving end there. In 2018, Andile Lungisa was sentenced to 3 years in prison with 1 year suspended after lengthy court cases and appeals. He finally decided to serve his sentence. However, 2.5 months into his 2-year jail sentence, he is now a free man.
So Tweeps actually weighed in and they had a lot to say about this one. So Untombizwane said this. Who said, the early release of Mr. Lungisa is yet another example that our justice system is dysfunctional and inconsistent. Add the granting of bail to an illegal immigrant like Pastor Bushiri and Sam Shabalala, and we have a problem. She's actually tagging people.
Yes,
and then
she's Untombi saying it with her chest.
This is what Urop Dunk 907-87378 said, that his parole raises a lot of questions. But I have another one. How is his conviction for assault a constitutional matter? How can he appeal to the constitutional court?
Okay, so to help us answer these and a few other questions, we are now joined by Andile Lungisa. Andile, welcome to the show.
Hi, how are you?
We are well. We are very curious, though. So you were convicted and sentenced 3 years to serve 2. Then you served 2.5 months and got parole. How did you manage this?
Oh, no, I have to really to have a smile on my face whilst I'm still feeling the pain of being put behind bars after 1994 to serve as a political prisoner. Because you must remember, I was attacked by 3 DA councillors.
Yeah.
Were sent by their own organization.
Yeah. No. So
My only crime.
we realized there was a lot involved
My
here.
only
Sorry,
crime.
Andile. Sorry, we realized there was a lot involved. I'm asking, how did you manage to only serve 2.5 months?
No, it will be better. I can see even your Twitters is to understand the laws of the Republic. I went like any other ordinary citizen, and then I've done my time.
So, you know, I'm curious to find out, obviously you've referred to what people on social media and tweets, their sentiment. Do you feel that justice was done in your case, having been found guilty? But also, you know, beyond how you feel, what does the community service that you are then going to do to finish up your time look like?
No, the justice was not done if the Constitutional Court will act like all other courts. I'll be forced to approach the International Criminal Court.
Oh, yeah?
Because you must remember, here we are dealing with a political matter. A political person in a political meeting where my rights were violated by 3 councillors who attacked me. But from the lower court, processes were manipulated.
How so?
No one
How so? How were processes manipulated?
paid attention. If you can analyze, you can talk to the video specialist, the editor, to analyze the video, which we have just shown section by section. And then we'll see that almost 5 times where I was beaten by Rhino case. I only responded after I touched my face 3 times. If you can watch that video slow by slow, you'll see on my left shoulder, I was pulled back. On my arm, I was pulled back. On my face, Rhino case that touched my face 3 times before I responded with the attack. I was under attack. Even when I turned, you can see a pole where it was. I was.
So you're going to approach. Okay. So you say you're going to approach the ICC.
The biggest crime in this country. If we are quiet like myself, we can easily be abused.
All right. My colleague has another question for you.
Tomorrow, to go. Yes, I will have to approach even the ICC. I will never take this matter lying. If the South African courts, they want to act like before 1994, they are free to do that. I will go and approach the International Court to go and state my matter.
Right.
Even I'm inviting 3 of you guys to follow that video segment by segment. You will see the truth there, that there was a miscarriage of justice. In this country.
All right, thank you, Mr. Lungisa. We will definitely take a look at the video. Thank you for joining us.
Please do, sir.
Okay. All right.
Okay, next story. Okay, on my timeline today.
Yeah.
You're still coping. Do you want to react?
I'm just, I guess in many ways, I guess the question is, you know, Mr. Lungisa clearly feels as though the lower courts just are out of their depth when it comes to deciding on matters of assault.
Actually, now I didn't know.
And take it as far as the ICC.
I didn't know that it was a brawl like that. No, I didn't know it was I didn't know it was a brawl like that. So I want to see the full footage and know what was going on, because a lot of things were going on in that video.
I feel as though a magistrate in a lower court is fully capable of being able to take in the details and the facts of a brawl. But yeah, interesting take as far as the ICC and going to the International Criminal Court. That for me I found particularly interesting. At any rate, we are going to go on a short ad break, and when we come back, you know we're going to continue with our trends. There is so much happening. Oh my goodness. Stay with us on SABC3.
Still tuned into Training SA right here on SABC3. In light of the 16 days of activism, the insurance company First for Women campaign has decided to shine the light on gender-based violence not only for 16 days, but for 365 days. Now this year, First for Women collaborated with some of Mzansi's best-known artists, women who share this unwavering dedication when it comes to the fight against the abuse of women. The 1980s reworked song My Body, Stand Up, featuring Lyra, Gigi Lamaine, Jules from Good Luck, and Marie Chan, was released to encourage women to rise up, to take a stand, and it calls on men to help fight GBV. Joining us now is First Women's spokesperson, Casey Rousseau. Welcome to the show, Casey.
Thank you so much for having me.
Tell me about the idea to make a song and then who you selected in terms of the artists.
Well, at First for Women, we know that music has the capacity to do so much good, and we wanted to harness this good to bring about much needed change to the underlying attitudes, behaviors, and beliefs that condone or justify women abuse through the power of song. So like you mentioned, we've collaborated with Lyra, with Jules from Good Luck, with Gigi, with Mary Chan, and I think they're incredibly talented artists, and when you couple that talent with a powerful anthem, you can bring about much needed change. So our song focuses on things like boundaries, on consent.
Oh my goodness.
Okay,
you just
looks
lose
like
Casey there?
we've lost Casey
Oh,
there.
Casey, are you
Casey, still
there?
with us?
Ah,
Okay. Hopefully we'll be able to pick. Hopefully we'll be able to get Casey back for another conversation. But just those key threads and those key pillars of the songs, right? Attitudes and consent, so key. But we'll try to get Casey back on the line just to chat more about their song.
all right, so moving on, guys, people of Mzansi, niyakhuluma. Like,
But that's what we do, Maple.
yeah, so there is a hashtag that says why men reject sex, and it was all over my timeline. And after Utibos actually posted this, said, ladies, has a guy ever rejected your sexual advances? What happened? Was your game that bad, or he was just too slow? Does the sex offer expire if they choose to, if they didn't see it or take it at the time? Is it gone forever? Men, why do you reject her advances? Before we just Ma, please switch off the TV. Thank you so much.
Oh, wow,
it was
lovely.
lovely having you on the show. So yeah. So Twips were quick to share their experiences. Yasin, I'm not saying that you guys are a lot, but you guys are really a lot. If you don't believe me, check out some of the responses to the hashtag why men reject sex. KM Manganyane says that men reject sex because, so why men reject sex? She caught feelings even before we had sex. Wow. I knew that if we have sex, that would seem like a marriage offer to her. I had to reject the offer. And then this is what Umelusi, AK-47 said, she was known to spread news faster than Daily Sun. Being a reserved, laid-back guy, I had to pass.
Okay, I can get
so
that.
I want to know, what are some of the reasons why you would reject sex?
If my significant other has had one too many drinks and I am sober. We either need to be both in the same place, otherwise it's not happening.
I would also just like to tell men and women out there that you do not need a reason.
Also that.
So you don't need a reason.
No.
Remember,
You're the king of your body.
No, for me, the sun has to be out, the bees have to be chirping, I need to feel good. And then, because here connected to the, one.
I feel
It's
like
all
you
one
didn't need to
healthy
point.
ecosystem.
I think we would have
No,
got...
but he wouldn't be my play if he didn't actually point.
I had to.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
All right, so it looks like we've got Casey Rousseau back on the line, spokesperson for First for Women. And of course, we're talking about the lovely campaign that they've put together for the 16 days of activism against, for no violence against women and children. In fact, beyond 16 days, making it a 365-day campain.
I wanna
So
clap.
welcome back, Casey. So glad we could get you back on the line.
Thank
All right,
you. Thank
Casey, so the money raised will go to the First for Women Foundation. I just want to know about the foundation.
So the First for Women Foundation was established in 2005. To date, we've raised over 81 million rand and we've helped over 90,000 women who've been affected by abuse. The way in which the foundation works is we take a portion of all of our customers' premiums and donate it to the foundation, who then in turn invests it into women abuse fighting initiatives. We tackle women abuse holistically because a multifaceted problem requires a multifaceted solution. So we're working incredibly hard to prevent it from taking place through a school-based education program. That focuses on things like gender equity training, intervention training, self-defense training. But as much as we're aiming to stop it from happening, we also know it's going to take quite a while before that does happen. So we're also aiming to offer much needed critical support services. So things like trauma counseling, safe houses, prosecution services, court preparation, anything you can think of that a woman who's in an abusive situation needs, we're trying to offer.
So Casey, before we let you go, you please need to give us the details of where we can download the song so that, of course, we can contribute towards the First for Women Foundation as well, because we want to take action and be part of the solution.
We are calling on all South Africans to please go to ditto.fm/My Body Stand Up to stream or download our My Body Stand Up song.
Lovely. Simple, sweet and short, and such an effective way of making a difference if you're feeling helpless and don't know what you can do to stem the GBV tide. Yeah.
And I love that private sector is coming to this party.
Always.
We need everybody on board. So crucial.
All right.
Guys,
fantastic.
we're going to go to a quick ad break. And after the break, we speak to a millennial who's rewriting narratives about living with HIV and found of good stories. I don't know which one might come because we're expecting Thula Mkhize, but it could be the twin brother Ntokozo. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Training SA. Our guest tonight is a millennial who is changing the face of living with HIV, as well as dismantling the stigma that has paralyzed so many communities when it comes to matters surrounding HIV and AIDS. Now, at the height of his youth, he was diagnosed with HIV, and that had a huge impact on his life.
Now, in case you haven't heard, for more than 10 years, he's been instrumental in rewriting narratives of people living with the virus and creating HIV-friendly communities. He joins us to talk about living with HIV, navigating relationships, and creating safer spaces for people living with the virus. Welcome to founder of Good Stories, Thula Mkhize.
Hello, Thula.
Hello, how are you guys doing? Can I
We
just clap
are
for
well.
myself?
Clap for
You just
yourself.
clap for yourself.
Okay.
You need to clap for yourself. Thanks for coming through, Thula.
It's a pleasure.
Let's
Can I
get-
take off my glasses so I
Do
can
so.
be one with you guys?
No, do so, do so. So let's get straight into it. In 2009, you and your then girlfriend were traveling from KZN to Polokwane, and on a whim, you decided to get tested for HIV, both of you, and your results came out positive. Hers were negative. Can you just put us in that picture, your initial reaction when you find out that this is your result? How did you process the news of your diagnosis?
Jeepers. It was crying, death, everything negative just in one bowl. And I didn't know what the next move was. But I think I've always been a positive person, and I believed that there has to be another side to the narrative that was then.
Yeah.
And as much as there's black, there's white, and there's good, there's bad. So there has to be another side. And I went out and I found it. And the more that I found it, I started believing that I could be like those people.
Yeah.
It's really interesting because you've also been quoted as saying, once I won the battle in my own mind, I knew I could achieve anything. So there was a battle. And I think that's important to equip other people with the awareness that if you are having that battle, you're not alone.
Of course.
How did you win that internal battle?
Information, being empowered. I think I needed to understand what this thing is, and the more that I understood what the thing was, I then understood how I could fight back and how I could control it rather than it controlling me. So it was a lot of reading, research, engaging with people, and when all of that kind of settled in, I was empowered.
So a lot of people in South Africa, they see HIV and they go, "Sengshonile." It's a death sentence.
Yeah.
How do you live every day with your status?
For one, I'm on ARVs, and the job of ARVs is to eliminate majority of the virus out of your system. So I treat myself as how you would treat yourself and how you would treat yourself, because majority of it has been eliminated from my body. And that's one of the things that people need to understand, that there are actually options out there that you can take for you to make sure that you do not become like the people that became very skinny and they died. You can be like this and have an HIV negative wife and 3 kids and all those beautiful things and all the dreams that I had set for myself. I'm realizing them now. Oh, there's my family. Oh.
Well, you know, exactly to that point, as you
Yeah.
say, you've got a wife, you've got 3 gorgeous kids.
Yeah, well, of course, look at you.
Exactly, look at you. Actually, I'm sitting admiring your skin, by the way. I'm always like,
It's the makeup.
like, your eyes are perfect. Anyway, so I'm keen to find out how you've had that conversation with your children, that,
Yeah.
you know, daddy is HIV positive, and just to understand what, you know, the condition that you're living with, how did you have that conversation with them? Because I imagine you want to do it at an early age and as soon as possible, because that's part of demystifying this thing.
So my daughter is about 1.5 years. My son is 3.5. They're not going to understand. But with my 13-year-old, I think probably she was about 7 or something. My wife and I had the conversation with her, and I don't actually really think she truly understood what it was, because weeks later, she was having a fight with mommy, and then she said to mommy, "I wish you were HIV positive like daddy."
Oh my goodness. And how did she process that?
We laughed about it because it was very funny, you know. So now that she's 13 and she's going to be going into high school, and it's a conversation that we now need to have. But she's very much aware of what it is that I'm living with. But we just need to have that conversation now that she's a teenager.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Talk to us about good stories.
Of course.
And some of the good stories you've achieved in the last 10 years.
Jeepers, man. So we've won 2 awards. 2017, we were Lead SA Heroes, but the most special one was the one that we collected last year at the AIDS conference in Durban. I think if you're going to get recognized at that platform, it's amazing. So I think if we park that, it is the number of people that over the years we've actually been in touch with, we've assisted, and we've moved them from a point of not understanding and fear to a point of, well, actually, I can live with this.
I can do this.
And those are the people. And I keep saying this, it's the thank yous. The amount of thank yous where someone just says, thank you, thank you, thank you, it just keeps us going.
Beautiful.
And then, so you've been living with HIV for over a decade.
Yes, it's going to be 12 years on the 6th
12 years.
of Jan.
Yes, sis.
Yeah.
So what are some of the things that you are still learning in your journey?
Oh, that's a good question. Thank you, sir.
It's coming from me, obviously.
Yeah, that is, stop kissing yourself. Anyway, so some of the things that I've learned, and I think I'm still learning it now, because I think as you interact with so many people, and people have different personalities and they've had different experiences. So when they come to you about the same thing, which is HIV, but their experiences are totally different because of who they are. And one of the things that I really believe in is that every engagement that you have changes you, and it changes the other person as well. So I'm constantly learning, and the people are learning as well.
Wow.
Thank you so
much for joining us and for the work you do. It's so inspiring.
Well, thank you guys for having me. I'm really happy, and the water tastes good.
Oh, well, as long as that's fine, then we're all good. That's all we have for you for tonight. Tomorrow we discuss 16 days of activism with the Minister of Women, Youth and Persons with Disabilities, Maita Nkwana Mashabane. And later, we'll be celebrating Hitmaker Busiswa. You don't want to miss out, so we'll see you tomorrow at 6. Bye.